Happy friggin' Sunday. Happy New Year's Eve. Is this thing straight? Hopefully I don't fuck this up. Anyways, happy New Year's Eve. I want to just bring you into my Sunday. This is me just chilling on a Sunday and kind of mapping out some of the goals that I have, and I want to share my process in the hopes that it helps you. Because ultimately, like, if you don't know where you're trying to go, and more specifically, like, what actions are you taking to help you get there, getting there becomes really, really hard. So I'm just going to explain a little bit of my process for like setting goals, like the goals that I have, why I have them, you know, a couple things like that, how I think through things, and then, but more specifically, like, how do I map my habits to the goal so that, you know, achieving them, like, becomes the inevitable next step, right? Okay, so let me start this off. The first thing I want to say is I like to think of goals, like, I try to balance myself out. And so typically when I think of goals, I think through categories. The main three categories, like, you know, in life, let's just say, are like health, wealth, and relationships, right? It's the same thing if you were like choosing a niche, like if you were trying to choose a profitable niche. It's like, cool, what category are you in? You in health, wealth, or relationships? Like, are you helping people improve their fitness, their health, fat loss, whatever? Relationships, find a partner, whatever that is, you know, or business, like wealth, you know, career, finances, right? Okay, so that's just like one thing that I think through. Like, I would ask for you watching this, I would ask yourself first, you know, like sometimes what I do is I have a sheet of paper and I'll write health and make it a column, wealth, make it a column, relationships, make it a column. And then I usually have another one for like personal / other, whatever you want to call it, right? So that's like the first thing is, like, I would just see within your categories, you know, what goals do you have within those categories, okay? What I'm gonna go through here, and I totally apologize that the lighting's probably not that great because we're like, the light is coming in this way, but this is just how I like to do things. Like, I like to map things out of my window. I think this is the world's best whiteboard. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just cool. It's just so inspiring. Who needs a whiteboard when you have like ceiling to floor windows? I waited a long time to get these ceiling to floor windows. So anyways, I'm gonna just explain a little bit about my goals in some of the major categories, and then like how I've mapped actions to those, and just be super candid about like what I'm going after in 2024. And I hope that this helps you so that you can think through this in a similar way, and not just set the goal, but like actually have habits that map to them. And I am gonna come back at the end of this, I think, and talk about, like, I don't want you to just set this once and then you like put this in your desk drawer and you forget about it. Like, this is something that I typically check in on every week. It's usually on like a Sunday is kind of when I do things, but I'll talk about that at the end too. So yeah, okay. So I'm gonna share some of my main goals in different categories. So like, let's first start with fitness, like health and fitness. So for me, and I don't know if you watch my Instagram or whatever you do or don't do, right? But if you ever do watch my Instagram stories, you'll see that in the last 6 months, I've totally prioritized going to the gym. Like, I would say 90% of the weeks for the last like 6 months, I don't know how many weeks that is. What's 4 times 6? I don't know, 24 weeks, something like that. Hopefully I can math. But I have been very into the gym, and the reason that I wanted to do that was because my priority, well, I had 2 priorities. One was to get better at surfing, and one was to, which happened a little bit, the other one was to just put on, I wanted to put on more muscle mass, you know? More strength, more muscle mass. I felt like, I don't know, I used to have more than I do now, because I used to like prioritize that more, and so I was like, I feel like I'm getting like skinny fat here or something, like I feel like I don't have enough muscle mass. So I wanted to prioritize that in my life, right? But now, going into 2024, I'm shifting gears a little bit, and I actually am not as concerned about putting on strength and size. I feel like I'm in a good spot. But here's what I am shifting to. Instead of putting on strength and size, I just want to maintain my muscle mass, right? I just want to maintain what I've built in the last 6 months. And part of that is because I'm going on a trip, and I'll later tie this into Mexico. But I'm going on a trip to Mexico, and I actually know that I want to prioritize getting better at surfing more than I want to prioritize being in the gym, right? And so my goal is to maintain muscle and strength, improve my surfing, and then also, in general, I just want to be like a touch leaner. Like my goal is like 19 to 21% body fat. I'm not 100% sure where I'm sitting, but I probably want to be ishly 5 pounds lighter, nothing crazy, just a little bit. And so those are like a couple goals: maintain my strength, improve my surfing, lose a little bit of fat, nothing crazy, but a little bit. I want to prioritize stretching more because I honestly haven't been doing enough of that. And then I just want to keep my hormones happy and my gut health and all that stuff. So these are kind of like my fitness goals. I'm making a transition. I'm no longer super interested in like just only focusing on strength and size, and I'm actually shifting gears. So like I just want to maintain that, but I want to go surfing is like my biggest thing, and a couple other things that map. But here's what I want you to know, okay? So these are like a couple of my goals in this category. But maintaining my muscle and strength, cool. Like how do you get that, right? Like what's the input that maps? And for me, I just finished on the other window over there, writing a workout program where I'm doing less volume. I'm probably doing less sets, less volume. But it's like, I know that in order to hit this goal, I need to follow this workout program 4 times a week, right? So I know like Monday, Tuesday, I'm gonna be in the gym, I'm gonna take a rest day and then do Monday, Tuesday, right? I may need to adjust this based on my surfing, but my point is, I've written a workout program that maps to those goals. And I kind of wrote it myself because like I previously did like, I don't know. I know how to write workout programs. I also had ChatGPT help me, which is good. But anyway, so I have a plan for that, right? Like I know I have to like follow this plan 4 times a week. Improve my surfing. The metric, this is the key thing, metrics, right? Like the metric that I attach to that is like, okay, cool. I want to be surfing at least twice a week. Maybe in Mexico I'll be surfing every day. I don't know. 5 times a week. I don't know. But I think like, God, at least 1 to 2 times a week. Like that's the number I'm aiming at. And maybe I have to tweak this stuff, but like that's the number, right? Fat loss phase, -5 pounds, ishly 19% body fat. I have a coach who's helping me with this on the nutrition side, because honestly, I'm not that great at keeping myself accountable on the nutrition side. Way better at the gym side. So I have plugged a plan into this. I've plugged a coach into this, okay? Total shout out to John, who's incredible. Maybe I'll link his Instagram handle down below if you're looking for a fitness nutrition coach. He probably could have programmed my stuff, but I wanted to do that myself. But anyways, my point is I have a plan for this, which nutrition-wise is going to be some sort of calorie target, right? And some sort of protein target for the most part, right? And then, am I hitting a certain amount of steps a day and whatever, right? But it's like plan for strength, plan for surfing, like plan for the fat loss phase, right? And then I set 2 other goals. So I said one was stretch more because I'm not doing enough of that. My goal is to do at least 60 minutes per week of stretching, because right now I'm doing 0 and it's not cool. So I gotta up that. And then the last thing, happy hormones. I'd like to quit coffee. That's pretty weak language. I'd like to, but that is the goal. The goal is to be coffee free, caffeine free. Anyways, okay. So that's fitness, right? So my question for you is like, what are your goals in fitness category, right? Like you want to improve your gut health. Okay, what's your plan for that? Do you want to add muscle mass, get stronger? Okay, what's your plan for that? You want to, lean out, lose 20 pounds, whatever your thing is. Okay, what's your goal for that? You want to be more flexible? Cool. What metrics are we putting around this? Like, what's the plan? Where are the numbers? How are we getting there, right? So anyways, I hope this is helpful. But those are my goals right now, is like, I'm just totally going into a surfing phase. Just want to get better at surfing, maintain my muscle mass, and look good on the beach. That's what I want to do, right? So anyways, okay, that's fitness. Let's talk about business, because I think this might be why you're watching this channel, or this video, but like, I'm just gonna super candidly explain like what my business goals are for the year, and then like what things I have mapped, like what things I know that I need to do to get there, or at least what I think I need to do to get there. So, this is really fun. This is really cool. So actually, side note, I would pause this video before we go any farther, and like, I would write down like, number 1, what are your fitness goals? Like take out a piece of paper and do this right now, like what are your fitness goals? And then like, how are you gonna get there? Like what are the habits or the numbers that you want to attach to those things, right? So you can see I got specific numbers, 4 times a week, 2 times a week, this % body fat / this plan, 60 minutes, quit this, right? Like they're very clear, like you did it, yes or no, right? So I would just say like, pause this video and like write down your stuff in fitness, right? Okay, second thing, business, because if you're watching this channel, you probably are interested in growing your coaching business. I'm gonna explain a little bit about how I'm gonna grow mine, okay? So my goal this year for business, and this has been my goal for a while, I'm getting fucking closer though, is I wanna hit $1 million in revenue, you know? I should probably set a profit goal on that too, because like if you hit $1 million but you spent it all, then like, cool, good job, right? Maybe I should set a profit goal on this. Let's put at least 50% profit margins. I'll add that in, that's my goal. 1 million revenue, at least 50% profit margins, hopefully higher, hopefully like 65 or 80%. But 1 million, 50% profit. Here's the constraint that I added though, working 30 hours per week, which means I need to start tracking my time. The reason that I put this in, honestly, is because for me right now, in my opinion, I work a bit too much and I would like to change that. Like just being 100% candid. So I put actually a constraint on this, which I think is gonna force me to be more efficient with what I'm doing. And also is probably gonna force me to hire some team members, because up until this point, yeah, I've made like 300K a year for the last 2 years, but like it's just been me. And that typically means I work a lot. That also means I don't know how to hire a team. Like I don't have that skill yet. And this year I think it's gonna be a lot about getting that skill. But anyways, so that was business. So 1 million, 50% profit margins plus, I'd say 50 to 80% probably is what I'm aiming for. And then working 30 hours per week. That's the goal, okay? Now, I broke this down into marketing, sales, fulfillment, and team, okay? So, because obviously you have to market to get leads. You have to, turn leads into clients, like you have to make sales. And then you have to fulfill on the promises you made to the people when you made the sales, right? And then team is like sort of a big focus for me. So in terms of marketing, I'm like, well, what are the inputs that I need to get the outputs that I'm after? And the output being, you make $1 million, right? Well, what are the inputs? Okay, well, I personally have started doing YouTube. Here's a perfect example of this video that you're watching, right? YouTube once a week. I want to be doing at least one piece of long form content every single week, right? This is this week's piece of long form content. I would also like to, I've been fucking terrible since I started this business about emailing my fucking list, right? And so what I would like to do is take this YouTube video every single week and send it to my email list so that people on my email list are like, hey, there's a new video, right? So this video here, maybe you just found it on YouTube, or maybe I emailed it to you and then you found it on YouTube, right? But I want to be doing at least one long form piece of content, and I want to be emailing my list at least once a week. And the goal is to provide value, right? The goal is to get you to trust me. Anyways, know, like, and trust, right? But that's long form. That's new for me. Honestly, I haven't done any long form pieces of content up until like the last month, pretty much, in this business. So this is new. And I'm terrible about emailing my list. So it's like, come on, girl, we gotta get it together, right? Now, the other thing is I want to follow the Instagram strategy that I already have, that I know fucking works, right? So it's like 5 pieces of feed content. So let's say Monday to Friday on my feed, 5 story selling syntaxes, right? So showing up on my stories 5 times a week, talking about my offer 5 times a week, right? So these are inputs for me in terms of content. Now this piece here, you can't see this. I'm sorry that you can't see this, but it is what it is, right? It's just the lighting. This says new chat starts and follow-up chat starts. So basically, new chat starts is like, here's what people don't understand. People don't understand that running a business is like, it's content, yes, but it's also conversations. And I honestly think the conversation side of it is where the true money is at, right? And everyone's making this mistake of just like only posting content, like waiting for people to come to them. But it's like, man, there's so much available over here, right? And I actually built my business in the beginning on this. And then I kind of went a little over to this, but now it's like, I want both, right? So anyways, new chats and follow-up chats. So new chats are like, so I'm gonna be running some paid ads. That's part of my strategy this year. But like, and I gotta maybe speed this up. I don't wanna lose you in this, okay? I'm just trying to like, I want you to see how I'm thinking about this so that you can think about your stuff like this, right? This is like a bit of a business lesson, but anyways, it doesn't matter. So new chats is like people coming into your world. Like you should be starting conversations with every new followers. Here's a fun fact for you. 50% of the people that come into your world are never gonna buy from you. okay? They're never gonna buy. And then of the other 50% of the people that come into your world, like brand new followers that followed you today, 15% are ready to buy right now. And the other 85% needs to build more know, like, and trust with you. They need to be in your world a little bit longer, right? They need to watch a video like this, like you're doing with me, you know what I mean? So you wanna be starting conversations with those new people. If not, that maybe they're ready to work with you. And if not that, to give them more value, to give them, you know, to build more know, like, and trust so that 30, 60, 90 or more days down the line, they are ready to work with you and they think that you're the one, right? So anyways, new chat starts with new followers, and then follow-up chat starts. These are things like interactions with people who've commented on my posts, you know, like when I do polls on my stories and stuff like that, like starting conversations from people that are already engaging with my content that maybe are ready to book a call and work with me, right? Which, side note, shameless plug, if you are ready to book a call and work with me, you should click the link below this video because I would love to help you out. So anyways, but this stuff here, I'm gonna tie this into team, but this chat stuff, I am looking to get this completely off my plate in 2024. I am working on hiring an appointment setter that is actually going to do this for me so that I can be in my zone of genius this year. Like the things I wanna be doing this year is content and clients. I don't wanna be doing chats. Like in terms of like running your business, it's the 3 C's, right? For the most part, with a coaching business. Content, C number 1. Taking care of your clients, C number 2. And then conversations, C number 3. Most people are completely missing the boat on this one. But I feel that my zone of genius actually isn't within the conversations. It's more with the content, the marketing, and fulfilling and keeping my clients like crushing it, right? So I'm actually looking to take away the second C completely off my plate. Anyways, so new chats, follow-up chats. And then the other thing is ads. So this is like organic stuff that I'm doing, but this stuff down here is ads. So I am working on running some ads this year, as well as starting some retargeting ads. And so let me just like go back to the bigger picture here, but there should be numbers attached to all of this, okay? So YouTube once a week, email once a week, Instagram feed 5 times a week, Instagram stories 5 times a week, right? Talk about your offer 5 times a week. In terms of new chats and follow-up chats, I need to start getting better metrics around this in terms of what volume we can do, in terms of new follower chat starts, and then follow-up chats. And then in terms of ad spend and retargeting spend, this is new to me as well. But I wanna be tracking like how much content, numbers on content that we're putting out, right? Numbers on chats that we are starting, and numbers on the dollar amount we are spending on ads, right? So like, because how do you improve anything without those numbers, right? So anyways, hopefully that's helpful, but this is what's going on the marketing side. And if you look at team, there's like VA and like a virtual assistant and a setter. This is actually gonna plug into the chats. I'm gonna have a VA helping me with the chats, as well as a setter helping me with the chats. And so that's where like this piece of the team matches in here, right? Now in terms of sales, the goal is to improve my sales call close rate. I'd like to take it up by another, 10%. And then there's a thing on here as like a closer. I may outsource sales at some point and have somebody else doing that. And then I'm just doing content and fulfillment. Cause yeah, anyways, I might take the sales thing away and give that to someone else. But that's farther down the line. But there's a metric, right? Like improve by 10%. And then fulfillment, overhaul my program was one. I just did that. I'm super stoked. It's on version 5.0. And then maybe get a customer success manager. At some point, I may actually be only in content, and I actually have somebody helping me with fulfillment and client stuff, right? So that's maybe coming down the track as well. But you can see VA, like in the team section, like VA, setter, maybe like VA and setter like ASAP, closer maybe is like the second thing. Customer success manager might be the third thing. And then the other thing I put in here is like bookkeeper / CPA. I kind of have one, but I need to make a couple changes. And like I was doing my taxes yesterday. It's like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, no, the goal is like working 30 hours a week. You shouldn't be doing your taxes. Like, it's like I want to force myself to not do some of the things that I'm currently doing, if that makes sense. Like The words of this year are like zone of genius and team, right? So anyways, but you can see, right? You can see how, hey, and I want you to stop and like maybe pause this video. And I gotta make sure this thing's still filming. This thing's still filming? Okay, it's still filming. Good. I don't have a lot of space left on my phone. I gotta delete some stuff. Anyways, but you can see, hey, what's the big picture goal? 1 million. And I know in my soul that I have everything I need to get there. Like at this point, it used to be like, do I think I can even achieve this? And now I feel like, Morgan, you're an idiot if you can't achieve this. Like that's the point we're at, right? So it's like, okay, cool, goal, 1 million. 50 to 80% profit margins. Can't count fingers. 1 million, 50 to 80% profit margins, and then constraint, 30 hours a week. Because like I work a little bit too much for my liking right now. It's a little bit too much for me. Don't get me wrong, I love work. Like I love it. But I would like to actually have a little bit more free time. That's part of my intention for this year, right? But there's seasons. There might be a mode where you're in total hustle mode. There might be a time where you're not. And so I just want to switch a little bit more over to not. Still going to be lots over here, but a little bit more over not. Anyways, but yeah, you can see how there's like different metrics that map to marketing, metrics that map to sales, projects that are like done or not, right, with fulfillment. You've hired these people or not with team, right? And so anyways, hopefully that's helpful. Some of this stuff like may not be relevant to you right now, but hopefully this shows like, okay, big picture goal, but like how are we getting there? Like what inputs map to this, right? And then the last thing for me is the other big project that I have. So the first one was like health and fitness. The second one was like business stuff. The third one is fun and travel. Why did I originally build this business? Like part of it was I knew I reverse engineered what I wanted, right? It was like, I want something that gives me the freedom and flexibility to travel. And although I have done a lot of that in Canada and the States, I've actually never been outside of Canada and the States by myself. I did go to New Zealand one time with an ex-boyfriend for like 2 weeks, but I've never been outside Canada and the States by myself. And that's a bit of a fear point for me. Like, honestly, it like freaks me out. But I said I wanted to travel, right? And I think I've been a bit too much heavy on the work stuff, and I'd like to put a little bit more fun, a little bit more pleasure, a little bit more relaxation, travel, fun, adventure into my life. And so one of the goals is getting outside of these two countries for the winter. And I've already made the steps. Like, this apartment's gonna be gone in less than a week for me. I'll be on a flight to Mexico, and I'm gonna be surfing, which is exciting. So I've already kind of made that step. Like, the apartment's gone, the flight's booked, the Airbnb's booked, like all that stuff. And that's gonna be in Mexico, and I might go to Costa Rica as well. I might even go to the States again as well, but certainly I'm going to Mexico. And like, what are the metrics that map to this? Well, the flight's booked, right? The Airbnb's booked, like I'm going, for better or for worse. I have no idea how it's gonna turn out, but anyways, I feel like I'm just on such a crazy tear, such a crazy rant. And I may have in fact gone way too deep on some of this stuff. Like maybe I lost a lot of people, which is totally possible. But I just wanna say, like, this is how I think through my goals, right? Like, it's not just, oh, I wanna be leaner. Oh, I wanna make double the money this year in my business. Yeah, but like, what are we doing? Like, goal, habits that map to the goal. And then the third piece that I just want to talk about really quickly is I don't just do this shit once. Like, sometimes I do this shit every Sunday, Like, I'll write on my paper, like, health, wealth, relationships, personal adventure, whatever, and I'll put the little columns in the categories, and I'll set the goals on Monday. Like, I'll set the intention for the week on Monday. But then on Sunday, I come back and I look at the same paper and it's like, cool, did you do your 4 workouts per week? Did you follow the nutrition plan? Did you stretch for 60 minutes a week? Like, did you do the things? And if I did, amazing, checkbox, cool. If I didn't X, what are you gonna do differently next week, right? And then you take that and you set your intention for week 2. Right? And then the same thing, at the end of week 2, you look back and you're like, yes, no, what am I gonna do differently? And then the same for week 3, right? So I guess my point is like, this shouldn't just be like a one and done thing that you never come back to. Like, this should be something that, yeah, you do a bigger picture, zoom out, whatever, like maybe on, you know, honestly, I'm not even really just doing this because it's December 31st. Like, I do this reasonably often, right? But it's like, if you do want to do this, that's fantastic. But like, come back to this next weekend, right? And like you know your bigger picture intentions. So it's like, how did your habits and your actions that week map to those intentions? Yes, no, what do you need to change? And you just keep repeating the process, right? So anyways, I hope this was helpful, but I totally recommend, and actually, you know what? One category that's not on here is relationships. I would say last year, I was on this kick last year. I'm just gonna say this anyways. I was on this kick last year where I was like, yeah, I'm ready for a partner. We're gonna do this. Like, we're gonna be on Tinder and Hinge and whatever. And I did that, and I did go on like quite a few dates. And I just don't know if that's like I don't know if that's a focus for me right now. That may very well come back into the picture, but currently, I did push that forward a little bit last year, and I don't know if that's currently if it's like my highest priority thing, if that makes sense. But it may very well come back in here. But also, honestly, I think, this is my belief, but I think when you're doing you and you're going after the things you want, like, do you think when you're fucking surrounding yourself with a bunch of entrepreneurs who are also building businesses that you might find somebody very like-minded who's also building businesses in some of the rooms that you're in? Fucking probably. Do you think that if you go to Mexico and you get like a co-working space and you're working in a space where there's a bunch of entrepreneurs and also people that love surfing, that you might find somebody that has similar interests? Fucking probably. I don't know. I just don't think I really knew. Maybe I'm crazy. I mean, I could go the Layla Alex Hormozy thing where it's like, you must go on 1 date a week. And I kind of did that a little bit, like this past summer. So who knows? That goal might come back in. But for now, these are my top 3. And that might come in again, 4th. But anyways, the only reason I say that is because I just encourage you, number 1, like, look at each category of your life. And it's like, what are your things? Like, maybe you're married, right? And you want to improve. There's some goal you have around improving your relationship with your spouse, right? But anyways, number 1, look at all the different categories, set your big picture goal. Number 2, map like metrics or habits to that goal in each of the categories, right? And then the 3rd thing is like, fucking revisit this every week. Like, don't just do this one and done, December 31st, and then you put the shit in your desk drawer, you never look at it again. Like, you should be like weekly on a Sunday, some sort of weekend day or something like that, or maybe a Monday, whatever works for you. Sunday feels better to me. You're like, cool, this is what I'm planning for the next week, and then the next week on Sunday, you're like, okay, how did that week go? New intentions, right? It's like review new intentions every Sunday. So that's the 3rd thing. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. This felt like a little bit of a rant, which I guess it is. But I just really candidly wanted to bring you into my Sunday. And have some fun with this, and it just seemed like perfectly timed too, because it's December 31st, and I hope that this helps you. You know, I hope that this helps you crush 2024. This is what I'm going after in 2024. Might win, might fail. It's kind of irrelevant. I'm just happy that I'm in the arena, and yeah, I just hope this helps you a ton. So that's it. Lots of love. I'll catch you in the next video. Feel free to drop a comment. I mean, like this. First of all, like this if it was helpful, so I know that anyone's watching. Number 2, if there's anything else you want to see from me, drop a comment in the comments below. And then number 3, if you want help building your coaching business and getting to 5, 10, 15, 20, 30K per month, book a call with me below. I'd love to help. Anyways, lots of love. Happy 2024. Bye.